Hello students, I welcome you to this session of refrigeration and air conditioning. In this lecture, I will discuss the working of the ice plant, which is a topic in your Unit 5, in your RAC syllabus. Now in this ice plant, we have the formation of the ice from the water. And similar uh, formation of the ice you will notice in your domestic refrigerator when the ice is formed in the tray. Now in the domestic refrigerator we have the heat exchange directly between the refrigerant vapor, and then you can say that the water that is kept in the tray. Right. So refrigerant vapor indirectly absorbs the heat from the water that is kept in the tray. And then this water is converted into ice, right? So similarly in this case we have here a refrigerant which is, you can say, employed to take away the heat from the water and convert that into ice. But in your domestic refrigerator you will find that there is only one refrigerant, R134A or maybe R12 or R22, whatever may be the refrigerant in your domestic refrigerator. Nowadays you will find R410A also, in your domestic refrigerator. So what I mean to say is that only one refrigerant is there in the domestic refrigerator. Whereas in case of the ice plant we have the two refrigerant. One of them is called primary refrigerant and another one is called as the secondary refrigerant. So the primary refrigerant is the one which moves in the vapor compression refrigeration cycle, right? And secondary refrigerant is employed to, you can say, convert the water into the ice. So in the ice plant we have the ammonia, as you can see over here, is the primary refrigerant. And brine, which is nothing but the salt solution. When we put the salt in the water we obtain the salt solution like calcium chloride or maybe sodium chloride. These two are generally called as the brine solution. Right. So here, as you can see, that we have the parts similar to that in the case of the VCRS system. If you consider this portion, we have the compressor, we have the condenser, and then we have the throttling valve and the evaporator. So this is the one circuit, right, which is called as the refrigerant circuit. And refrigerant, as I told you, is the primary refrigerant, and ammonia is utilized as the primary refrigerant over here. Now ammonia, you are already aware that it has got the highest latent heat of vaporization. It has 0 ODP and GWP. GWP, it has also, you can say, very small value in case of ammonia. And apart from that, it is non-corrosive if you use the material compatible to that of the ammonia in the refrigeration circuit. So this is the one which is called as the refrigerant circuit, right? So I will start from here. The low temperature, low pressure, LTLP, vapor refrigerant, that is vapor ammonia, enters into, here as you can see we have the low temperature, low pressure vapor refrigerant enters into the compressor, and then it gets compressed to high temperature, high pressure vapor. Remember, I am talking about the ammonia in this circuit, right? And then high pressure, high temperature vapor ammonia enters into the condenser, right? And condenser, you are already aware that refrigerant rejects the heat to the surrounding media. So if you carefully notice that this is the cooling water which is coming over here. Okay, so cooling water takes away the heat is rejected to the cooling water. Okay, over here, right, water becomes hot and then it is pumped to the water tank over here, as you can see, right. In the meantime, the refrigerant condition changes to high temperature, high pressure liquid refrigerant, which is nothing but the liquid ammonia. Okay, now this high temperature, high pressure liquid ammonia enters into reservoir where you can say the level of the refrigerant is maintained inside this reservoir. Okay, and then it is subjected to expansion in the expansion device. This is expansion device. Okay, now when the refrigerant enters into expansion device, it is subjected to throttling process. Okay, and consequently when the refrigerant comes out of this expansion device, the condition becomes liquid plus vapor ammonia. Okay, right, and pressure and temperature both becomes low. Okay, so here again you have the refrigerant enters in the liquid plus vapor form into the evaporator. Okay, and then you know that in the evaporator the liquid refrigerant absorbs the heat from the product which is required to be cooled, or for the space that is required to be maintained at particular temperature. Okay, so here you have the brine which is entering into the evaporator at comparatively higher temperature. Okay, so brine is entering from one side and you have low temperature, low pressure liquid plus vapor ammonia entering from one side. Okay, so brine takes away the brine gives up its heat to the liquid ammonia, right, and in turn the liquid ammonia gets vaporized, and then you have again the low temperature, low pressure saturated ammonia going back to the compressor over here. Okay, and brine when it you can say rejects its heat or gives up its heat to the liquid ammonia, okay, its temperature becomes less, right. So we have the low temperature ammonia, or low temperature, sorry, not ammonia, low temperature brine solution, okay, entering into this, you can say, the brine tank, right. In this brine tank, as you can see, we have the ice cans, right. These are the standard cans, okay, and inside this the water is stored which is required to be converted into ice, right. So brine, when it enters into the brine tank, okay, it is at a very low temperature, okay, whereas the water inside the can is comparatively at a higher temperature. Okay, so brine takes away the heat of the water and convert that into the ice inside the can, right. Okay, and then when the brine absorbs the heat from the water, okay, or takes away its latent heat, okay, the brine becomes hot and again it is pumped by means of this pump, as you can see over here, okay, to the evaporator back, right. So here, as you can see, this is the second circuit which is called as the brine circuit, right, and this one was the first circuit which is called as the refrigerant circuit, or the primary refrigerant circuit, secondary refrigerant circuit. Brine is nothing but the secondary refrigerant over here, because it takes away the heat from the primary refrigerant which is called as the ammonia, okay, gives up the heat, you can say, to the ammonia, right, becomes cooled, and then it exchanges heat with the water in the brine tank, right. Okay, now this cooling water, okay, which becomes hot when the refrigerant detects heat in the condenser, is required to be cooled again. Okay, so this cooling water is pumped by means of a pump to the cooling water tank, as you can see over here. Okay, In this the water is stored, and then this water is allowed to cool, okay, using a natural cooling tower, right? So you know that in a natural cooling tower the water is cooled by means of the density difference only, okay, right? So air is entering at a lower temperature, as you can see over here, okay, takes away the heat of the water, okay, and then hot air becomes available at the exit, and then it leaves the cooling tower, okay, and water which becomes cool is again pumped back to the condenser by means of this pump, okay, and this circuit, okay. So this circuit which is employed to cool the cooling water, okay, using the water tank natural cooling tower, okay, this circuit is called as the cooling water circuit, okay, and it is meant to take away the heat of the condenser, right? Okay, so there are three circuits as I told you. First one, the refrigerant circuit, which is the ammonia circuit or the primary refrigerant circuit. Second one is the brine circuit or the secondary refrigerant circuit, and third one we have the cooling water circuit, okay, which I have just explained you now, okay, right? So I hope the working of this ice plant is clear to all of you. Thank you for this lecture.